Hi everyone, it's me. We're going to finish chapter 7 of Harry Potter today. We've not actually got that many pages left, so it might be quite a short one actually. Um, so Harry has been sorted into Gryffindor. Ron and Hermione and Neville have been sorted into Gryffindor. They've just had a huge feast, haven't they, in the Great Hall at Hogwarts, School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Professor Dumbledore, I thought he was going to make a huge speech just before they had their dinner, and he said 4 random strange words. So he seems like quite a strange man. And Harry's never eaten so much in his life. That's where we're up to at the moment. So we're going to finish chapter 7 today, and then we'll have a little bit of a think about what's going to happen next. Let's see where we are. Oh, of course. He just looked at Professor Snape, didn't he? Forgot about that bit. He just looked at Professor Snape. Professor Snape looked at him, and when Professor Snape looked at him, his scar on his head hurt. So that's a bit strange. I wonder what's happening there. At last, the puddings too disappeared, and Professor Dumbledore got to his feet again. The hall fell silent. Ahem! Just a few more words now we are all fed and watered. I have a few start-of-term notices to give you. First years should note that the forest in the grounds is forbidden to all pupils, and a few of our older students would do well to remember that as well. Dumbledore's twinkling eyes flashed in the direction of the Weasley twins. I have also been asked by Mr. Filch, the caretaker, to remind you all that no magic should be used between classes in the corridors. Quidditch trials will be held in the second week of term. Anyone interested in playing for their house should contact Madam Hooch. And finally, I must tell you that this year, the 3rd floor corridor on the right-hand side is out of bounds to everyone who does not wish to die a most painful death. Harry laughed, but he was one of the few who did. He's not serious, he muttered to Percy. Must be, said Percy, frowning at Dumbledore. It's odd, because he usually gives us a reason to why we're not allowed to go somewhere. The forest's full of dangerous beasts, everyone knows that. I do think he might have told the prefects, at least. And now, before we go to bed, let us sing the school song, cried Dumbledore. Harry had noticed that the other teachers' smiles had become rather fixed. Dumbledore gave his wand a little flick as if he was trying to get a fly off the end, and a golden ribbon flew out of it, which rose high above the tables and twisted itself, snake-like, into words. Everyone pick their favourite tune, said Dumbledore, and off we go! And the school bellowed. Hogwarts, Hogwarts, Hoggy-Warty Hogwarts, teach us something, please. Whether we be old and bald or young with scabby knees, our heads could do with filling with some interesting stuff, for now they're bare and full of air, dead flies and bits of fluff. So teach us things worth knowing, bring back what we've forgot. Just do your best, we'll do the rest, and learn until our brains all rot. Very strange song. Maybe Crossacre should have a song like that. Everyone finished the song at different times. At last, only the Weasley twins were left singing along to a very slow funeral march. Dumbledore conducted their last few lines with his wand, and when they had finished, he was one of those who clapped loudest. Ah, music, he said, wiping his eyes. A magic beyond all we do here. And now, bedtime. Off you trot. The Gryffindor first years followed Percy through the chattering crowds, out of the great hall and up the marble staircase. Harry's legs were like lead again, but only because he was so tired and so full of food. He was too sleepy even to be surprised that the people in the portraits along the corridors whispered and pointed as he passed, or that twice Percy led them through doorways hidden behind sliding panels and hanging tapestries. They climbed more staircases, yawning and dragging their feet, and Harry was just wondering how much further they had to go when they came to a sudden halt. A bundle of walking sticks was floating in mid-air ahead of them, and as Percy took a step forward, they started throwing themselves at him. "Peeves," Percy whispered to the first years. "A poltergeist." He raised his voice. "Peeves, show yourself!" A low, rude sound, like the air being let out of a balloon, answered. "Do you want me to go to the Bloody Baron?" There was a pop, and a little man with wicked dark eyes and a wide mouth opened, floating cross-legged in the air, clutching the walking sticks. "Ooh!" he said with an evil cackle. "Ickle thirsties! What fun!" He swooped suddenly at them. They all ducked. "Go away, Peeves, or the Baron'll hear about this. I mean it," barked Percy. Peeves stuck out his tongue and vanished, dropping the walking sticks on Neville's head. They heard him zooming away, rattling coats of armour as he passed. "You'll want to watch out for Peeves," said Percy as they set off again. "The Bloody Baron's the only one who can control him. He won't even listen to us prefects. Here we are." At the very end of the corridor hung a portrait of a very fat woman in a pink silk dress. "Password," she said. "Caput Draconis," said Percy, and the portrait swung forward to reveal a round hole in the wall. They all scrambled through it. Neville needed a leg up, and found themselves in the Gryffindor common room, a cosy, round room full of squashy armchairs. Percy directed the girls through one door to their dormitory and the boys through another. At the top of a spiral staircase, they were obviously in one of the towers. They found their beds at last. 5 four-posters hung with deep red velvet curtains. Their trunks had already been brought up. Too tired to talk much, they pulled on their pyjamas and fell into bed. "Great, isn't it? Great food, isn't it?" Ron muttered to Harry through the hangings. "Get off, Scabbers! He's chewing my sheets!" Harry was going to ask Ron if he'd had any of the treacle tart, but he fell asleep almost at once. Perhaps Harry had eaten a bit too much, because he had a very strange dream. He was wearing Professor Quirrell's turban, which kept talking to him, telling him he must transfer to Slytherin at once because it was his destiny. Harry told the turban that he didn't want to be in Slytherin. It got heavier and heavier. He tried to pull it off, but it tightened painfully. And there was Malfoy laughing at him as he struggled with it. Then Malfoy turned into the hook-nosed teacher, Snape, whose laugh became high and cold. There was a burst of green light and Harry woke, sweating and shaking. He rolled over and fell asleep again, and when he woke the next day, he didn't remember the dream at all. And that's the end of chapter 7. So we only had a few pages left to get to the end of chapter 7. So we met a few more of the teachers. Met Peeves, the ghost. He's a very naughty ghost, isn't he? And he's gone into his common room. So Harry's got 5 beds with him and his friends will all stay in one room. The dream he had didn't sound very nice. It sounded more like a nightmare than a dream to me, where the turban was getting tighter and tighter and it was telling him to go to Slytherin because it was his destiny. Didn't seem like a very nice dream, but luckily he's not remembered it in the morning. It looks like he's going to go to his first lessons in the next chapter, because the next chapter is called The Potions Master. So that must be one of his teachers. So I really look forward to reading that bit tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow. Shall I tell you how many pages we read? Oh, do you know, we're almost halfway, actually. Look. We've almost read half of the book. So we've read all of these pages here. We've read 140 pages. And we've got, well, in the whole book, there are 332 pages. So we've got about 200 pages to go. So, there we are. Chapter 7 of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you tomorrow for the beginning of Chapter 8. See you later, guys. Bye.